Well, let's talk about something that doesn't require frame rates. No sense of momentum. Poll finds drop in support for Australia becoming a republic. Fucking cringe. Live in a country of filthy loyalists. Support for Australia becoming a republic has slipped, according to a poll which reveals only a third of Australians are in favour. Damn. God damn. The online Ipsos poll, conducted by The Age, the Sydney Morning Herald, and Nine News, surveyed 1,222 people nationally. Wait, I'm sorry, what? A third of Australians. A third of Australians, but we only surveyed 1,222 people? Well, that's not much data to work off. Like, you're going to use this as a headline? Like, this is from The Age, which is probably Australia's, like, most respectable newspaper. And this is a news story? 1,200 people? And 400 of them support a republic? Okay. Good journalism. Alright. Surveyed 1,220 people nationally and found that 40% were opposed to a republic, under which Australia's own head of state would replace the British monarchy. Yeah, because that's the thing. I recently, found out that Australia is a constitutional monarchy. And when I read that, I thought, no, wait, not, we can't be. And then I thought about it for a second and I was like, oh, hang on. If we don't have a presidential system, what are we? It's like, well, parliament. It's like, well, who's the head of state in a parliament system? And then, oh, fuck. We are a constitutional monarchy. Disgusting. And speaking of disgusting, Jesus Christ. Prince Philip looks like he's well and truly past death's door. One quarter said, wait, 1/4? So of this already small poll, a quarter said that they didn't know. Oh my god. Which are the highest level of undecided response on the issue recorded by successive Ipsos and Nielsen polls. The poll search report for Republic has steadily ebbed since a peak in December 1999, when 57% of Australians were in favour immediately after the failed 1999 Republic referendum. Then how did it fail if there was a majority? Jesus Christ. The latest Ipsos poll found support for Australia becoming a republic was lowest among those in the 18 to 24-year-old group, with only 26% in favour compared to 30% in all other age groups. Greens and Labours were more likely to support a republic. No shit. 46% and 41% respectively. Oh my god. Compared to 27% of coalition voters. Okay. Alright. That's enough of that. Okay, so other than the fact that a lot of Australians are filthy, disgusting loyalists, what does this tell us? Well, on today of all days, I feel like it's appropriate to talk about an Australian republic. And again, the stream video feed is lagging, so I'm going to have to take myself off. So please bear with me on that. Hopefully my voice is coming in loud and clear. Anyway, the Republic. So, me personally, as I've said many times on this channel before, and made videos about, I'm a libertarian. And as a libertarian, I oppose all unjust hierarchies. There are some hierarchies that are just. For example, the hierarchy that exists between a child and an adult. There are some hierarchies that I consider unjust. And one of them is the hierarchy that exists in a monarchist system. Now, people make the argument, we live in a constitutional monarchy. There's very little political power endowed in the monarch, at least in our country. In Australia, with the head of state being the Queen of England. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care how ceremonial the position is. I don't care how little political power is endowed in the monarch. What I'm concerned about is the fact that we are continuing to support a system in which an undemocratic leader has been placed as our head of state. And I find that disgusting. And the fact that the majority of Australians either don't care or support the monarchy is indicative of the ongoing colonialisation and perpetuation of white supremacy in this country. Now, I'm not just saying that to sound woke. I have my reasons. Because after all, today is January 26th, and if there's ever a time to talk about this, it is today. It is undoubtedly true that Australia was founded on colonialisation and white supremacy. In fact, the very first thing that Australia did after achieving federation at the start of the 20th century was enact the White Australia policy, which is where Australia declared itself as a white country and attempted to, overhaul society to be as white as possible. I mean, for instance, Australia kicked out a lot of the Chinese immigrants at the start of the 20th century. Even, first-generation Australians. There's records of the children of Indigenous Australians and Chinese immigrants who, their parents sent them to China to live with an aunt and uncle or their grandparents because it was better for them to never see them again than their child to be treated like the Indigenous Australians were. The Indigenous Australians are still suffering from the wounds of injustice and the violence that was perpetuated against them 200 years ago. I mean, that wound hasn't healed over. I mean, as Malcolm X said, you need to take the knife out before the wound can heal. Paraphrasing. Now, to me, in addition to the undemocratic political implications of a monarchy, our refusal to gain true independence as a republic is a perpetuation of that violent and racist system. Now, I understand that the British Empire, in the traditional sense, does not exist, and they do not wield the same political power that they did a few hundred years ago. However, this is more than a symbolic gesture of racial justice. On today of all days, for a lot of, not just Indigenous Australians, but all Australians, or at least for a lot of people from all walks of life, this isn't a day of celebration. This isn't a day of national pride. It's a day of pain, and it's a reminder of the violence and oppression that's been perpetrated over the last 200 years and continues to this day. Now, making Australia a republic is not going to fix that. However, the gesture of symbolic racial justice it can't be, I guess, how can I say? Making Australia a republic, declaring ourselves independent, acknowledging the Indigenous Australians as the first Australians, drawing up a treaty. I believe that the Indigenous Australians are the only Indigenous population in the world that does not have a treaty recognising them as the First Nations of the country of origin. That would be a very good step in the road towards reconciliation by acknowledging their place, their rightful place in Australian society. And again, this is barring even just the political implications of a constitutional monarchy. I mean, we say, like, oh, the Queen doesn't have any state power, but we know that the monarchy has interfered with Australian politics before. Like 30 or 40 years, the Attorney General acted basically at the Queen's behest to upset Australian politics. So in terms of a republic, I mean, I've thought about it, and I can't think of any good reasons against it. I mean, people talk about tradition and remembering where we came from. But I'm more interested in celebrating the history of Australia. I mean, the Indigenous Australian is the longest continuous civilization. At least 60 to 80,000 years old, and it's estimated maybe even as old as 100,000. Now, to me, that's something worth celebrating more than a fleet of ships arriving 200 years ago with a boatload of convicts unjustly brought over, and over 250 years of violence perpetuated against this country's Indigenous inhabitants. Now, like I said, a republic isn't going to fix that. But I feel like it sends a strong message, both to Indigenous people and a strong message of democracy. If we're going to even make an attempt to heal the wounds of the past, then it's going to take sweeping changes. And I, for one, I love democracy. So for us to perpetuate an anti-democratic system, sucks. Pretty bad.